Alright, so today we're doing part 5 of building the 2-speed fully suspension off-road go-kart. Now, I just got back from Texas for the Pate swap meet. I was down there with Go Power Sports. I have a lot of footage to edit, and unfortunately all my computers are down right now, so that's kind of unfortunate. So it's going to just take a little bit of time to edit those, but it's not really going to matter for you because I'm going to be posting this video after all those videos I uploaded. So anyway, what we're going to be trying to do in this video is we're going to try and get this go-kart running, trying to get it driving. All I really need to do is hook up the throttle, hook up the brakes. I need to install the brake caliper to the brake disc. I also need to finalize the wiring to the engine, hooking up on-off switches and starter buttons right here. I also need to find a battery for this engine. Now we also need to add a shifting mechanism to the 2-speed transmission, so therefore I can shift in between gears while riding this. I need to add a shifting mechanism or a shifting lever to the right side of the driver, so therefore I can shift. It's going to make it a little bit more complicated with the linkages in between the shifting lever and the shifting mechanism, just because it's going to have to snake behind the seat, over the seat, and then back down, and then over to it. It's going to be a little bit complicated, but it should work. I should be able to build something like that. I kind of did that with the dune buggy, and it does work just fine. Now, I also am starting to really like the look of the panel right here. I know it's really loud. I need to figure out a way to quiet it down when I attach it, but I want to see what it would look like if I add more paneling. I want to add some paneling to the inside of the bottom piece, all right here. I want to leave this open, but I want to cover up and panel the inside of right here, just to see what it would look like. I want to see if it would make it look a lot cooler, or who knows. So, but our main objective in this video is to try and get this dune buggy to run and drive, and to figure out how much power and how much speed we can get out of a 420 engine with a 2-speed transmission.
Alright, so again, this is a temporary gas tank until I build the much bigger gas tank that I want to build for this go-kart. So now I just want to start the engine and let it run. The 2-speed transmission is in neutral, so if I hit the gas, it's not going to go anywhere. But again, I just want to start the engine and let it let it run, and just to see if I have the throttle hooked up properly. So I am waiting for a battery from Go Power Sports, and once that finally gets here, then I'll hook the battery up to the engine and I'll hook up all the wires to the switches I put up there. But for now, I'm just gonna have to pull start it, and if I want to kill the engine, all I have to do is just turn this key and the engine should shut off. Alright, so the only thing I don't have hooked up on this go-kart is the shifter mechanism to the 2-speed transmission. So right there when I was running it, it was in neutral. What I'm going to do is put it in first, lock this so it can't back out of first, and I'm going to start the engine back up and see how much power this... I guess I'm going to take it for a ride. I guess I'm gonna do that. I mean, everything's on here. It's just the only thing I don't have is the kill switch hooked up to where I can reach it when I'm sitting on there, and the shifter mechanism. Those are the only things I don't have hooked up. Let's hope nothing goes wrong. Alright, so I'm gonna try and start it up and then jump on it, and hopefully it doesn't take off before I can jump on it. So let's see how well I can do this. So, on. It's incredibly slow, which is not the worst thing ever. I mean, it's pretty fast for first gear, but...
Alright, so we finally got to test drive it, and I gotta say, it's a lot slower, and the suspension is almost non-existent, unfortunately. I knew it was going to be on the slower side just because I wanted to have a lot of gear reduction, and I wanted this thing to almost crawl. I mean, on those hills, I barely had to hit the throttle. I only hit the throttle just to go a little bit faster, but it easily went up those hills almost in idle. So that just shows you how much power this thing has, which is awesome. But I really want to see what second gear is like, so really the only way for me to do that right now is to hook up the gear shifting mechanism. I need to hook some kind of a shifting knob right next to the seat, and I also have to hook up all the linkages from the shifting lever to this right here. That's going to be a little bit complicated just because it's going to have to sneak over behind the seat, around, over here. It's going to be a little bit complicated with all the linkages, but I'm going to hopefully be able to do it correctly so it's not going to shift when the suspension moves up and down. We also need to add some kind of braking mechanism to the jack shaft just because when this engine is in idle and if it's in neutral, it's obviously going to be spinning, and if I just jam it in first gear, it's not going to really, it's going to grind a little bit and not going to sound that great, so I kind of want to add some kind of braking mechanism to the jack shaft, and I think we can do that pretty easily. Alright, so we finally installed the shifting mechanism to allow me to shift in between gears, and we also installed a braking mechanism to the jack shaft to allow me to stop the jack shaft while it's in neutral, just because, while the engine's idling, it's in neutral, it is spinning, therefore it makes it a little bit harder to shift into first gear just because it grinds a little bit, so that's why I added a braking mechanism to the jack shaft, so therefore I can stop the jack shaft and shift a lot easier. So really, the only things we have left to do with this go-kart is add the gas tank. I know I installed this temporary gas tank, and I still need to build the gas tank I want to build for this go-kart. I want to build one just like the one I built for the Doom Buggy. And we also need to install the battery and hook up all the wiring. And really, that's it. Besides the paneling, I know I did take that piece of paneling off on the hood. And I know I did say in the beginning of this video that we're probably going to add paneling to the side of this go-kart just to see what it would look like. But I'm really more focused on trying to get this go-kart running and driving and all that. And we also finally did get footage of me driving this in my yard. You guys finally saw what it's like driving in first gear. I know we still haven't tested it in second gear. I still have no idea how fast second gear is. First gear, like I said, is really slow. But I kind of like how slow it is. I kind of like how much torque it has. But it depends on how fast or how slow second gear is. If second gear is not too slow, or if it's not too fast, I may have to change it, play around with the gearing a little bit. But anyway, that's in the next video. And now I have to thank Go Power Sports for sending me all the parts I used for this project, everything I used for this go-kart. I'll be leaving links to in the description below, so go check all that out. But anyway, this video is long enough as it is. I gotta go upstairs and edit this video so I can upload it tomorrow. So yeah, I gotta end the video here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, and have a nice day.